coming, and I'm glad you got pizza and you're not missing out. So my name is Julia Wells, and I'm a circulation clerk here at the library. And I'm going to talk to you about what to do after you've procrastinated. So what does a circulation clerk know about procrastination? I'm also a student like you guys. I've been doing a master's program since 2012, and I'm a couple of weeks away from finishing, and it will make me a bona fide librarian. I'm doing a library and information science master's. So because it's 100% online, I know how to be really organized. I have to be really organized and really self-motivated. So I'm here to offer some tips about what I've learned through 3.5 years of forcing myself to sit in front of a computer when I'd rather be out playing or meeting Fina for coffee. So, why do we procrastinate? We know we have a paper due. We know we have to study for that test tomorrow. We know that those dishes on the counter are not going to clean themselves. So, why do we do it? Why don't we just get to it? So according to procrastination researchers, yes, people actually research procrastination, the key reason is because we are averse to the particular task. So pretty obvious, we procrastinate because we actually don't like to do what needs to be done. So, you know, who likes to scrape food off of a plate that's been sitting there for 3 days? So Tom Pitchell, one of the very cool procrastination researchers out there, lists 6, and that's not him, by the way, lists 6 reasons why we may put off a task. So is it boring? Is it frustrating? Is it difficult? Is it not personally rewarding? How do I even do it? Do I know how to do the task? Or is it unstructured, maybe a little chaotic, can't understand it? So because we're overwhelmed by all these negative thoughts about the task we have to complete, we want to feel positive, we want to feel positive emotions, we're only human, so we procrastinate. All right, so now we know why we procrastinate. What are we going to do about it? Okay, so your paper is due, you're feeling overwhelmed. So let's just say today is Tuesday, and your paper is due on Thursday. You've got 2 days to do it. It has to be a minimum of 6 pages. Your instructor says you need 5 resources. You've Googled a few topics, you've narrowed it down to a few possibilities, but you just can't decide. And you have to work tomorrow night because that's reality. So now you're feeling completely overwhelmed. What do? You decide to binge watch season 5 of The Walking Dead again. All right, so how do you get started? I'm going to share some tips from my own bag of tricks and from some experts that have helped me battle procrastination. All right, tip number 1, stop chasing perfection. Yes, that is a 1980s joke. That was a movie called 10 with somebody named Bo Derek in it, and she was considered a perfect 10 in 1979. Go figure. So, usually when we put off something for so long, you just can't decide on a topic, you actually become, sorry, yes?
What's a perfect 10?
Not I don't think there is a perfect 10. A perfect 10 means somebody who's just perfect. It's sort of like on a scale from 1 to 10.
Of attractiveness.
10 being perfect in every way. So of course, all of us humans are not perfect. So that was my joke. So when you're trying to decide on a topic, you become paralyzed by the choices. You may think one topic looks good, there's another better one around the corner. You may find an article online, you see a reference to another one, you go to that other one, oh, that looks better. Oh, well, maybe try another one. Oh, maybe that one 3 articles back is best. So there comes a point when you actually just have to make a decision about your topic. You have to accept that maybe you'll only find the minimum number of resources. Maybe actually 5 pages you're going to have to do instead of those 6. You know, so you just have to choose. So you have to forgive yourself, basically, and accept a little bit of imperfection. We can't all look like Bo Derek in 1979. Well, none of us can. So, tip number 2, make a list. This is an absolute must. In order to focus and prioritize your goals, a list helps not only organize your tasks, but it actually acts as its own little reward system. So, who doesn't like scratching off a task off of a list or giving a tick? And so I'm a tactile learner. I like the old-fashioned paper lists that I give you. I like to get my pen out and tick the task when I'm done. But I do realize that some of you out there like technology a little more than, say, me in that way. So I found the best to-do list apps out there. And so you can see that there's Google Keep, AnyDo, Wonderlust, Todoist, and my absolute favorite is Habitica. And so it actually gamifies your list. If any of you are gamers or like games in any way, it gamifies your list. And so here's a couple of examples of what it looks like, and it's pretty cute. It used to actually be called Habit RPG, but they've just updated this a couple of weeks ago actually to Habitica. And so it's a free app, and you can, you put your habits, your daily goals, your to-do list. You can get a custom avatar, and you can fight monsters and all the rest of it and level up. It's pretty cute. And you can see, they've got all sorts of things on their to-do list. So I kind of liked that app. All right, so back to the list. Now, you have your paper due, back to that example, and you're waffling on your topic. You've procrastinated, and yeah, you have to work tomorrow night. Now, your list isn't just going to say write paper. That's a little overwhelming. So this is an example of what a list might look like. And of course, this list could be on paper or on your electronic device in your Habitica free app, whatever. So what you need to do is you need to break down your tasks into mini goals. Because again, this is about achieving and feeling accomplishment and feeling a reward system. So number 1, again, whether you're perfect or not, you pick a topic. If it's not perfect, that's okay, because again, it's due in 2 days. So, yay, you get to check that off. Woo, that felt good. Number 1, gone. And of course, then you need to go to the library and speak to all of those really wonderful people at the library and get some help at the reference desk if you need it to find those 5 sources. Done it, yay. So as you go down the list, you look and you see that I've actually put in some pretty irrelevant things on that list. For example, go to your afternoon class. Well, you're going to do that anyway, but boy, doesn't that feel good to get that off the list. You get to check it off. You've accomplished something. We all eat dinner? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did it. I get to check it off. And if you go back to there, you can actually see that they do the same things on this app. Eat vegetables. I like to eat junk food.
I like the floss.
Floss is excellent. So irrelevant things, they actually mean something if, they make you feel better and it's a sense of accomplishment. Yay, we got through that list, done. So then we get to the next day. It is Wednesday now. Your paper's due tomorrow. You've actually accomplished quite a bit from yesterday, and the list is smaller. So again, into bite-sized chunks, if that helps you get through it. So instead of thinking, I have to go to the library and I have to edit my entire paper, just break it down. Break it down. I edit 3 pages, done. Go to class, eat lunch, done. And then it's again broken down into the chunks that gives you a feeling of psychological achievement. So we of course get to our last day, and yes, it's a tiny list. You get to edit your paper, you get to hand in your paper, and then you get to reward yourself with your Walking Dead. So those are just examples of what your list might look like and how you might want to chunk it down. But going back to the tips, say you've written out your list, but you just can't get over that little hurdle because, of course, life is surrounding you. So tip number 3 is protect yourself from interruption. In our day right now, we have so much around us and noise and everything. So there's multiple distractions around you. So if you're doing this in your room, if you're studying in your room, I suggest locking your door. just go ahead and lock your door. Don't let your dorm mates in, don't let your little sister in to interrupt your train of thought. Invest in a bag of earplugs. They're awesome. You may have noticed it tonight. They work. And most importantly, no phone. And that's a big one. I mean, you don't even want to just turn it face down on your desk. You would want to physically remove it from where you are. Put it under your bed, put it in a box, put it under your pillow. Just get rid of it for a little while so that the temptation isn't there. And say you're at the library, I suggest no group study. If you are needing to get your paper done in 2 days, you're on a deadline, you can always socialize later. I would find the quietest corners you could. And here in Maine, the quietest corners are the carols all around the wall. And over at House of Learning, it's pretty noisy over there, but it is a quiet area behind the stacks on the 3rd floor along the wall. So that's where you would find the quietest space. And again, put your phone away. And no social media. So you've made your detailed list, you've hidden your phone, you've resigned yourself to it all. Tip number 4, just get started. So how do we do that if it's still sort of overwhelming? Again, I would take baby steps. So just like in the lists where you're chunking all of your information, your baby steps are, I'm going to write for 15 minutes straight, and then I'm going to reward myself with a little look at Snapchat for 2 minutes. The key is to actually stick to the timing. So if you're going to say, I'm going to write for 15 minutes, do it. Well, look at a clock, and then give yourself a little reward. Again, it's just all about, well, and yes, definitely self-discipline, and also realizing that, again, don't expect yourself to sit there for an hour if that's not you, and if you can't do that, and if you can't focus for that long. Make it more achievable for yourself. All right, so now all work and no play makes a dull brain and a sore back. So tip number 4, take breaks. Take a walk, work for an hour, take a 15-minute break, go for a walk. And in fact, tonight at 2 a.m., there will be an organized walk for everybody here, whoever wants to go outside. So, and of course, snacks, chocolate, and I didn't bring anything healthy, sorry.
It's downstairs.
All right, number 6, find your personal rhythm. And for Fina, that means dancing. But what I'm really meaning is, do you work better after a cup of coffee or a cup of tea? You need to figure out what works for you. Do you like to listen to music? Does your music, can it have lyrics? Can you actually be listening to somebody singing while you're working? I know that when I was an undergrad, when I was having to concentrate and write an essay, I actually listened to classical music because that's the only thing that I could listen to without it distracting me. And again, find out where you're most comfortable. Do you like to sit on a couch when you're reading? Do you like to sit in a coffee shop or go to the library? You just have to find out what works for you. And the last tip for beating procrastination is kind of a fun one. I found this website called futureme.org, and it actually allows you to write an email to yourself and send it to yourself at any date in the future. And you will get an email, it could be years from now, and you could get an email, and they've been doing this for years. And so what I actually did was I wrote myself an email to get in May, because I will be finished my master's then, and I'm congratulating myself. And I guess the point is for this is to remind you that you got through it. To say, you know what, you may be stressed out right now, and I can tell you are because you're writing it, but you know what, you got there, you did it. Congratulations. So it's like a little pat on the back to the future you. And